And it is great to have with us up in the booth one of the biggest baseball fans around, and I would call him the premier American history documentary filmmaker. I know it's a lot of words, but Ken Burns is with us here. Ken,
it's great to see you.
A pleasure to see
Thank
you. And your great baseball series, which aired about a decade and a half ago. An addition to it coming up. We're looking forward to that.
You know, first of all, it feels like you're standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon. This is one of the greatest places on earth, Wrigley Field, and you can look out and see the lake and this magnificent city. And on a perfect day, as Ernie would say, we should be playing too. Yeah, there's been too much going on in the last 2 decades to ignore it. Our last one came out in '94, but the last bit of action it described was in '92. And we've just picked it up right from there. We started at the NLCS when Barry Bonds fails to throw Sid Bream out at the plate and then launches that story. And we cover all the stuff that's been going on, good and bad, because baseball is a precise mirror of the country and still the greatest sport that's ever been invented.
So it's called the 10th inning. And it's going to be out in September, right? Correct?
Yeah, September 28th and 29th on PBS, and we'll show it lots of different times so that people who have tough work schedules can see it when they come home or before they go to work. There'll be plenty of ways to get it. We have a companion book out. The DVDs will be out right away. But I think it's going to be a real good addition to the series and help people get the steroid era behind them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that's the number one concern for fans is the steroid stuff.
Take a look at some shots from the 10th inning.
These are kids in the Dominican Republic playing the game. They play in every back alley, every barefoot with 2x2s. They go to the baseball academies, and we trace the sort of rise of the Latin player throughout the game.
And I'm a documentary aficionado, and your use of still photographs. Obviously, the Civil War series, the West, you go back before there was video and film to use, but as you saw there, even today, I just love how you utilize.
Well, thank you. It's still the DNA. That single image is the thing, and sometimes you can have too much footage, and it just looks like the highlights, on the late night sports shows. But we really were trying to figure out what actually happened with the strike, what happened with steroids, but also all the good stuff. The big news is this game is so resilient.
Dempster will throw. Castro the turn. They get to.
This is just as resilient a game as you could possibly imagine, and nothing's going to kill it. And so we detail, Joe Torre taming the Bronx Zoo and the home run chase of '98, and the way the 2001 World Series meant so much, not just to the fortunes of 2 teams, the Yankees and the Diamondbacks, but also to the whole country that was trying to repair the losses of 9/11. What a spectacular series that was, and we open it up that moment, and Gonzalez's unbelievable hit there, and just all the Yankee fans were going, "No, you brought Jeter in, don't." Season over.
Yeah, my partner remembers that well.
Vaguely, yeah. Vaguely, yeah.
I'm a Red Sox fan. I've lived in New England for almost 40 years, and we had, like the Cubs, that long, difficult, torturous middle passage, and suddenly we got the monkey off our back after the humiliating loss in the ALCS in 2003. We got the monkey off in the greatest comeback in baseball history in 2004, and I'm looking forward to doing the 11th inning when we can celebrate the Cubs World Series victory.
Yeah, I mean, just this season alone with all the no-hitters, perfect games, and we talked many times about the Armando Galarraga, Jim Joyce situation, and my observation after the fact, I'd love to get your thoughts, Ken, is that it actually played out that it'll be more memorable that it wasn't a perfect game because of what happened at the end and how both parties reacted to it.
I agree with you 100%. I think that's exactly what happened. Dallas Braden, we're going to remember, and Roy Halladay, obviously, we're going to remember, but we're going to remember the incredible good sportsmanship. You got to think that every parent of a little leaguer just said thank you to Armando Galarraga for showing such class and amazing. I mean, he was robbed, we was robbed, and yet we will remember that much longer. It is that teachable moment, and if I were going to start a 11th inning, I'd start it with that moment. And how Jim Joyce, who should be commended for being able to say, I blew it, I got it wrong, and the kid deserved it.
Ken, always a pleasure. And again, keep doing what you're doing. We look forward to the 10th inning baseball, a film by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick, coming up in September.